Okay, so it's time for some speed planting. That's up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you today. It is Sunday, March 22nd, 2020. So Lori and I finally got the green light to go ahead and get some trees planted. So I'm gonna go ahead and link our video here where we show you where we planted our very first tree here on the property. Now that was just a few moments ago that we finished that up. Have that tree right at the front. It's completely done and ready to go. Now, obviously we have a whole lot of trees to go, and we wanna try to get as many trees in the ground as we can. So what we're looking at here is our berry area. So the house is right behind Lori. So we have multiple trees that we're gonna have surrounding berry beds where we'll have blackberries predominantly. So what we need to do is we need to get some of these trees in the ground. Now the trees that you see, so here's a contorted mulberry right here, got another contorted mulberry there, and then we got 4 Shangri-La mulberries across the front. So now these trees should have been in the ground a couple months ago. So we're way behind the 8 ball when it comes to getting these trees in the ground. So now we know time is of the essence, being at the end of March, and those Shangri-La mulberries already have fruit that is gonna wanna start ripening up here in a couple weeks. So we wanna get them to get the best head start they possibly can before we hit June. And so the key and goal for us right now is to get these in the ground quickly. So you hear the auger going in the background. We already have the trees placed out as far as where we want the trees physically. So now what we're gonna do is see how long it takes us using the auger to get a hole dug and a tree in the ground. I don't think it's gonna take long, and we're running out of battery life. So let's see if we can beat the clock on this one. Ready, set, go. Okay, so like that, we're done. So granted, we're using an auger, so we are cheating just a little bit, but we have 150 trees. Well, I guess now we have, what, 143 to go. But we got 6 mulberry trees in the ground. It took us 17 minutes to get those in the ground. Now, obviously, we're moving a little faster, and I lost control of the auger a couple times. But obviously, we can move a little faster because of what we're actually putting in the ground. So you can see we have one of our contorted mulberries here. We did come back and go ahead and add water into here. You want to do that right away to let this settle. Make sure that you get all of the dirt around the root ball itself. Now, one of the things with mulberries, and the reason why we did this little speed round, is these are not grafted varieties. So it doesn't really matter what depth we plant them at. So if we're a little deep, it's actually just fine. They'll root out from wherever that soil line is. So really not worried about that at all. In addition, a lot of times people ask us, what do you amend the soil with when you're planting the tree? And we occasionally will amend slightly. I don't even amend 50-50 with native soil. It's probably more like 20 or 30 to 70 or 80 as far as mulch or some type of garden soil, potting soil to the native soil. In this case, we just went with straight soil. Now, one of the reasons why I wasn't concerned about it is we're in a shallow wash here. Very, very shallow, but a shallow wash nonetheless. You can kind of tell when I was coming through with the auger, I did hit caliche once. Otherwise, we saw no caliche and we were going down a couple feet. And this water's been in this ring now for about 10 minutes and it's completely saturated already. So dealing with a little bit different soil here in this area, it's one of the reasons why we're also putting berries here. Anyhow, we've got all of these staked right next to the tree. We want to make sure we keep them as stable as possible. You can see they're going to move. Now what we do want to do is we want to go ahead and get mulch. So you can see I've got mulch here. We are going to go ahead and mulch this ring. Now we still have an outer ring that we have to do, but that's not going to be today. We're going to go ahead and get these mulched though and come back to you. Okay, so like that, we're done. So we have the wood chips in here. Now I want to make sure and clarify. So you see wood chips right up against the trunk. Now that's specifically because of the types of trees that we're dealing with. These are mulberry trees. So from each one of the little nodes, and this one's a contorted mulberry, easy to see them, but from each one of those nodes, you can actually sprout roots. So as these wood chips continue to break down, they'll create soil around that trunk and it will simply send roots out. So not concerned about that at all, but I do need to point that out. So we have that done. Now we still need to do our outer rings. We don't have the irrigation run to this yet. It'll be a bubbler with a large ring, and we will continue to fill that with wood chips also, and then of course it'll be irrigated. Now we've got a lot of trees to plant and a lot going on. We're trying to get as many trees in the ground as we can. So I don't know when we're going to come back and get this outer ring in. Because of that, I want to make sure the wood chips are here because we may be hand watering, unfortunately. But while we're doing the hand watering, I want to make sure we're maintaining soil moisture as much as possible so we can allow these roots to start to grow out here as we move into summer. We still need to do some protection for this little baby tree here. Now we do have the fencing done to keep the cows out, which is why we're able to get these trees in. However, we do have rabbits, jackrabbits, and also cottontails that will come in and pretty much chew this thing down to a nub. So one of the things we found that's very effective is this little pest, I think it's called pest wire, I don't remember, but it's basically to keep out little varmints, so little rabbits and that kind of thing. We really just want to keep them away from the trunk. So basically what we do is we cut these into strips, and I want to say this is about 2.5 feet or so. And then what I do is I take zip ties, zip tie it in several spots, and make it into a cylinder just like that, which will go around the tree. That'll add some protection to keep bunnies from getting in there and chewing at least the base of the trunk down. I don't mind if they get to the little leaves that will come out of the sides, but I want to give the tree a chance to grow up and out of the way of those rabbits before we have them gnawing on a trunk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this together, get it put around the tree so you can see what that looks like when it's done. So like that, we're done. Now, the only thing that we still have left to do, we do need to secure these cages. We found the easiest way to do that is to use a basic cheap bamboo stake, drive one of them in kind of sideways, and that'll keep the actual cage from trying to topple the entire tree over. Other than that, we've got the trunks protected. Again, the idea behind this is trunk protection, not necessarily the leaves. So it's okay if rabbits can get to the outside of the leaves, that's not an issue. We just don't want them chewing on the trunk and destroying the tree. So now you see see this line right here. These are 4 Shangri-La mulberries, and I'm gonna go ahead and link one of our Shangri-La mulberry videos here to give you an idea of what we're looking at as far as these trees. Tremendous amount of production. In fact, I'm gonna have Lori slide in, take a look at what's on one of these trees already. As we come in closer, you're gonna see this tree is actually loaded with mulberries. So whether or not we'll actually get ripe mulberries out of here, I don't know. We posted a video about a year ago on these. We air layered these, so they've been in pots for about a year. So the trees themselves are about a year and a half old, truly a year and a half old, but loaded with mulberries already, and each one of these has that. And of course, these are the contorted mulberries. As Lori slides in, you'll see we've got a tremendous amount of fruit on this little tiny tree. So this tree about the same age. We air layered this one also about a year and a half ago. You can see catkins everywhere, which basically turn into berries also. Again, these are just in the ground, so I probably will come back through, remove all the fruit. We don't need that fruit this year. I really want to make sure these trees concentrate on getting roots in the ground and established. But so far, we have a pretty good start to our berry area here. Already have these surrounding that. We do have one more spot for a tree in the back, and Lori and I are kicking around different ideas as far as what we want there. It'll probably be another mulberry, but maybe a variety that we haven't tried before. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Questions or comments, leave those in the comment section down below. Instagram and Facebook, we post content there you won't see here on the YouTube channel. And our Amazon shop, I'll leave a link down in the description. That's a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with that link, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. It took us 17 minutes to get these 7 mulberry trees in the ground. So yeah, what?
6 mulberries.
Oh, let's try again. It is 6 mulberries. It sure felt like 7. So now what we also need to do, we do have the fencing up at this point, so I am not connected.